Amar and Pak John Bosco. We have 8 presenter. We will running the presentation. I would like to invite the first presenter, Pak Bangun. Are you ready, Pak Bangun?
Inshallah ready.
Yeah, okay. Please, time yours, Pak Bangun. You have estimation 15 minutes, including question and answer, ya, Pak Bangun, gitu.
Okay. About the screen, is it?
Yeah, you can share your screen by yourself, I think.
Please, room 2, please.
Oh ya, Mbak Panatia dari room 2, please help Pak Bangun to.
Room 2 too. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping me. I start now.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bangun.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, okay.
My name is Bangun IR Harsitanto. I represent my friend Satrio Nugroho from the same university, Universitas Diponegoro, Wulani Inggarasari from Parahyangan Catholic University, and Rona Farika Jamila with Gentina Pratama Putra from Universitas Mercu Buana. Would like to present our research about how we design our study space during pandemic COVID-19 for this ICENIS 2021. Next, please. This is the table of contents. Then next, as we know that COVID-19 has been informed on China at the end of 2019 and made big world problem until present. Many countries have announced lockdown policy and night curfew to stop spreading. Until this paper we read, written, total the case of Indonesia is more than 1.74 million cases in the tail of 1.6 million were cured and 48,000 were passed away, as you seen in this graphic. And then next, please. So, what is the influence of the COVID-19? In my discipline, architecture, there's a big impact for worker and student. And the world started to encourage the work from home because there's night curfew and the limitation in mobilization. There's work from home and learn from home, or PGG, pembelajaran jarak jauh. Both of the activities are from home. This scheme is detected by part of telecommuting concept. So this concept, people shall make adjustment on their home or office in their house to become office or school, or just copying the existing condition of the home. And sometimes it's the function is not quite satisfied, but they must do for the productivity. So this study will investigate the people adaptation on their home to accommodate the learn from home activities. Next, please. Using two methods. First is we do gain data from online questionnaire, and then we analyze with some literature, and we try to simulate with the science software to make illustration of cerebral space for studying from home. Next, please. This is the material discussion. We found that most of respondents were never done any work or study from home with online connectivity. More than 56%. There's no chance, because maybe in Indonesia, because my respondent from Indonesia, there are no chance for them to study home via online, because there is some regulation in Indonesia that cyber education is not allowed, etc., etc. And there's some negative sentiment about study not in physical class or not attending in direct teaching course. Negative sentiment in the society. But this condition new habit, new normal habit is being promoted by government, health institution, higher education, were made the counterproductive laws. Next. Next, please. Uh, after they work or study from home, most of students made their bedroom to become the class. As a study room is more than 86% doing in the bedroom for study room, and most of them are prefer to be alone. There's another option like living room or cafes that only 20% of respondents teen student won't cover, and this situation can be explained by teen student feel more comfortable to do many things on their bedroom rather than the other place, because the private place make their own territory with no other person can disturb them during the class with their gadget. And the solitude state of learn with the gadget reflect people prefer to do alone in their workplace learn place. In another fact, the internet may connect them to the other college or the other friend via virtual spaces like we do now. The next, please. Miss Room 2, please. The click or what? Next slide, please. Hello. Okay. And in that case, they like to turn on their air conditioner because they feel more need their place to be breeze and cool with air conditioning or ceiling or desk fan. The cool scent brought many motivation to work or learning rather than natural ventilation, because they shoot inside the house. And cool atmosphere attract to be more comfort to do their duties and gain more experience. Next, please. They put their gadget on the desk or table. They avoid working on the floor or other furniture. Because they relate to their economic things. They want to have the monitor same level like their head or their eyes. And the situation could be reached only they put the gadget on the table, not in the other furnitures. In the next. Disturbance, yes, there's a lot of disturbance like in most problem is the noise or audio disturbance. There's correlation between the vocal intensity of teacher and noise in the classroom. Just like that, vocal intensity measure area the symptom of vocal tract comfort before the after class. So the people need to be concentrate on the arts. This noise may distract and make the place more not comfortable anymore. There's some problem like internet connection, food, electricity problem that make their study from home is distracted. Then next, please. So I would like to simulate from the survey. We can assume that the beginning of the new era of working or learning from home is people would like to add another function on their bedroom to be workstation or class. Some modification is needed like air conditioner or fans for making cool atmosphere. Cleaning the bedroom table for puts their gadget like I do now to meet the demand on comfortable working space. Their basic activities show that people become more solitary rather than communal, eco-freak rather than natural friendly, and love to spend their activities more public space with keeping the health protocol. And then next, this is the illustration. The conclusion I would like to, next please. In the conclusion, I would like to conclude that the adoption of learning from home during this pandemic is mandatory. People deem it a very comfortable place, similar to their office or class outside their home. Some other design of their home done to meet their needs. And most of all, are using their bedroom with table and air conditioner to fulfill their demand of class from home. And on their bedroom, they are also able to control, avoid the audio disturbance, because the virtual space on their gadget need to be more listening like other than the other sound of their home. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you. I've done my presentation. Hello.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Bangun.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have a small problem with my connection.
So,
Okay, Pak Bangun,
yes.
thank you for your presentation.
Yes.
My success is concerned to the environmental problem, I think. What firstly, I would like to ask Pak Bangun, what is your concern, Pak Bangun, for your paper, Pak Bangun? It is concerning to the information atau concerning to environmental, Pak Bangun?
I think it's to the adaptation of the people or student for their class environmental virtual class environment.
Ya, Pak Bangun, thank you.
Yes.
Nah, because of the characteristic from the ICENIS, my question and also my suggestion is concerning to the stressing, Pak Bangun. How you will try to focus? It is related to environmental, or it is related to epidemic, or it is related to information system, Pak Bangun ya. Jadi it is still according to I saw your presentation, it is relate very general, and I'm confused how it is tend to information system or environmental gitu, Pak Bangun. Oh,
It's more
epidemic.
environmental because
Yeah.
I don't do this.
So please make some additional comment, Pak Bangun, maybe one paragraph, two paragraph relate to your concern. Maybe it is environmental or it is information system. Itu nggak Pak Bangun ya?
Yes. Thank you,
Ya.
Pak
Jadi,
Mariono.
thank you Pak Bangun. Mudah-mudahan sukses.
Amin.
We would like to run for the second presenter. Next presenter, siapa Mbak?
Bapak Fahmi Arifan.
Ya, nggih. Please Pak Fahmi Arifan.
So, can anyone in this room hear my voice?
Yes, I heard.
Okay. For my PowerPoint, is the committee available to presentate my PowerPoint, or I should share
Yeah,
screen by
please,
myself?
Pak Bangun, I would like you to stop the screen, and maybe Mbak Komite, please help for the second presenter to prepare the presentation, yeah.
I'm sorry, sir, but for Bapak Fahmi.
Okay, no problem. I can share screen by myself. Can you see my slide, dear committee?
Yes,
Or-
clearly.
Okay, thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity for me to give my presentation about the optimization of biogas protection from pineapple peel waste with mechanical pretreatment. So my team consists of Mr. Fahmi Arifan as the corresponding author or the first author, and then Mr. Sutario, Mr. Wisnu Prato, Mrs. Tila, and Mr. Arya. So we are coming from the Industrial Chemical Engineering Technology, Diponegoro University, and Mr. Sutaryo from Faculty of Animal and Agricultural Science, Diponegoro University. So here's the introduction, or the first thing that we have to heard about this research is about because the energy sources of petroleum, coal, and natural gas are decreasing drastically, as we know that. According to BP in 2011, the potential oil reserves in Indonesia are expected to last up to a maximum of 12 years, and for gas, it is estimated that they will last only up to 46 years. So because of this moment, because of this concern and this urgent time, that we have only 12 years maximum about the potential oil reserves. And then for the gas, it is estimated that they will last only up to 46 years. We need to find some another renewable energy, and because we are running out of energy reserves in the form of oil and gas. So actually, many potential renewable energies have been developed, as we know that, such as biogas and etc. But as we know that biogas is one of the options for renewing energy, biogas itself is a secondary form of biomass. So many raw material can be used as the biogas sources, such as pineapple peel waste. The waste of the pineapple never been treated into something useful, so it just become pollution. As we know that in the market, we see in a lot of place, we see that the peel of the pineapple is only become a waste, and it is not going to increase the economic value of the waste itself. However, based on several research that we have done, the pineapple waste can be used as a raw material for producing biogas. A study of using pineapple pulp and pineapple peel that was processed in one per one ratio in a digester reactor in the form of a plug flow reactor, resulting in a biogas accumulation of 342 milli per gram by weight of the substrate. So it means that from the beginning, from the previous research, we know that the pineapple peel waste has the opportunity, has a potential value to become a renewable energy in the form of biogas. But what should we do? We have a big problem inside the pineapple peel waste as the raw material for making biogas. The biogas production must be increased in order to replace energy sources such as oil and natural gas. But how we increase the production of biogas? Because from the previous research, we know that it is not optimum yet. Increasing biogas production can be done by various methods such as the use of additives, reuse of slurries, variation in parameters such as temperature, hydroid retention time, particle size, raw material pretreatment, and the use of biofilters. This research will focus on find the best way to increase the production of biogas through raw material pretreatment. So can you imagine that we have the problem about how we make this pineapple peel waste become the best raw material for making biogas, but we need to find some way instead of variable the temperature, the height, the particle size, and we choose to make a research about how we optimize this research by using raw material pretreatment. The methodology, first we need to research preparation. The research was conducted in animal product and processing laboratory at the Faculty of Animal Husbandry and Agriculture, Diponegoro University, Semarang. And the two used are a digester of 500 milligauss bottle as a place for substrate, fermentation at Tetra Pak from Kaisa Enterprises, a series gas gauges consisting of a basin water pump hose and a 100 ml of machine top, while the ingredients used include water, pineapple skin, or pineapple waste, and a starter from cow dung that has been fermented for 21 days. The pretreatment of pineapple peel. This is the variable. First, we have a grinder variable and then a blender and then cutting. The grinder dried in the sun for 3 days until dry, and then put it in the coffee grinder and grind it for 2 minutes until it forms a pulp, and then sieve it put it in a tray container, and the pineapple peel is first put in a tray that is wet and not built up. Then it is dried in the sun for 3 days until dry. Then put in a blender and blend for 2 minutes. And then cutting, the pineapple peel is first put in a flat and not built up tray, then being dried in the sun for 3 days. After dried, then cut into small pieces using a knife until they become uniform size of 1 centimeter. Then put in a tray container for further use. Then we need also a starter preparation. As I said before that, we use a kodang, a fermented kodang in 21 days, and it is needed as much as 200 grams. The sample preparation for the control variable, pineapple peel without pretreatment was used. Then the sample feed was put in the digester. The number of samples depends on the content of the volatile solid and the volatile solid starter, sample and starter. So the volatile solid is total solid minus S content, and sample needs are based on the principle of comparison of VS starter and VS sample with a ratio of 1 per 1. And then this before the practical implementation is measured. First, VS sample, both control and the pretreatment and filter starter. The comparison of the volatile solid starter and sample volatile solid calculation 1 per 1, inoculum per starter volatile solid content, volatile solid inoculum in 200 gram is percent of volatile solid inoculum times 200 grams. And for the sample, the VS sample used, percentage of VS sample times the number of sample used. And the biogas protection and the biogas protection analysis. The biogas protection analysis, pH measurement, VS NTS, signal cellulose test, and we do running the methane and CO2 analysis test. This is our research variable. Treatment 1. Without pretreatment, size of the pineapple peel waste is between 3 until 5 centimeter, and we call it as a control variable. And then treatment 2, cutting cut into 1 centimeter of size, we call it as a C2 variable. And then the treatment, or we use a blender to chop until the size is between 0.5 until 1 centimeter, we call it as C3. And the treatment 4, the grinder, grind up to 1 millimeter size, we call it as C4 variable. The fixed variable, the fermentation time, fermentation temperature, number of starter raw material, starter comparison, compare with sample, during method, during time, time grinder, and burn time, you can see on the screen. So here's the results and discussion. As you can see that we do pineapple skin preparation first, and the result of the pineapple skin preparation can be seen on the slide. And for variable A, variable B, C, and D, as you can see before, without pretreatment, cutting pretreatment, blender pretreatment, and the grinder pretreatment. So the variable D, can, as you can see, that it is smaller in the form of the particle. And the water content also reduced as much as 50% before the treatment and after the pretreatment. And then the dried pineapple peel, and you can see in the image below. Next, for the level of lignin, level of hemicellulose, and content of cellulose. The results of the analysis carried out, the level of lignin, hemicellulose, and cellulose displayed were not much different from the analysis conducted by the previous research, and the difference is quite far seen in the level of cellulose, where the result of the analysis carried out content level of 48.11%, while the previous research contained 14%. This caused by the organic content that exists depends on the type, climate, soil fertility, and so on. This is the biogas protection. TS percentage, VS percentage, yield of methane milli CH4 per gram volatile solid, initial pH, and also final pH. I want to state that the yield of methane is the amount of methane protection in 1 gram of solid volatility. So it is not equal with only the biogas volume in the unit of milli. And then according to the research, using hybrid penicetum raw material, as you can see on the screen, that we have the biggest value of methane yield is on the variable with grinder pretreatment, or variable C4. With the TS and PS value also the highest between the other pretreatment. And for the pH analysis, we can compute that the potential of nitrogen is tend to be higher than before uh, the protection of the biogas. But for the cumulative production image on the image below the slide, our pretreatment variable was given and the highest total biogas protection for 30 days of digestion process was obtained from pineapple peel waste that was carried out by pretreatment chopping or variable C2. So for the methane yield, it is variable C4 that has the higher, and but for the cumulative protection, we have variable C2. Because as you know that the total solid or volatile solid from the variable is different between only the volume of the biogas itself. The fluctuating biogas protection was caused by changing weather condition at the time of conducting the research, where the increase and the decrease temperature change rapidly every day. Weather and temperature in the environment are lower than usual, such as rain, which causes lower biogas protection. So the curves tend to be more fluctuating. And the biogas composition, the effect of size on percent methane depends on the type of substrate, and the methane fermentation process is technically influenced by several factors, like the biogas product contain component other than methane and carbon dioxide, such as NH3 and hydrogen sulfide, as well as inhibitor in components such as lignin, crystalline cellulose, which requires a treatment for its breakdown. And for the lignocellulose composition, um, the percent of lignin of without pretreatment is higher than the others, and for the percent of hemicellulose, as we can see that the blender pretreatment is higher than the others, and the percent of cellulose, uh, the greener pretreatment is higher than the others. So the conclusion from the biogas protection through anaerobic digestion, the highest methane yield results obtained were the variable grinder with a size of 1 millimeters at 285 millimethane per gram volatile solid, and the lowest yield was obtained by the variable without pretreatment and the size of 3 until 5 centimeters with the volume of 116 millimethane per gram volatile solid, whereas in the composition analysis, the highest level of methane and carbon dioxide were obtained from the pretreatment grinder with a size of 1 millimeter, resulting in 76% of methane and 32% of carbon dioxide. And the lowest level were obtained from the pretreatment chopping, which caused by several factors, and make the biogas product contain component other than methane and carbon dioxide. And however, the mechanical pretreatment used in this resource can be considered as the simplest and the easiest pretreatment to do. But based on the analysis performance, mechanical pretreatment doesn't have a significant impact on the reduction of lignocellulose. Thank you. For the moderator, is there any question?
Yeah, thank you, Pak Enrico Patra, ya.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is very good presentation related to biogas. Pak Saputra, I have one question for you, Pak Saputra. Biogas is very common and also very interesting tema for the research, especially for how we read about the organic waste. My question is, how you think about the scale up of your research, Pak Enrico? Because one of our problem is not only how we running in the scale of laboratory, but it is also how we try to scale up for the finding biogas, maybe for one community or two or etc.
Okay.
Monggo, Pak.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, Mr. Marina. It's a very interesting question. For any information, I also ever do a social service about biogas in Sleman, Yogyakarta. And the same problem goes to the social service itself, because there is a problem with the scale up, and then how we save the biogas after the biogas being produced, and then we can use it in the household as maybe for cooking and etc. And that is the same problem goes to everyone who have developed the biogas itself. So the only answer that I can give is only about the scale up. We need to find another method for the scale up, because on my research also we use anaerobic digestion and we don't use any plug for reactor and etc. But if we can implement the plug for reactor, or maybe something that can accelerate the production of biogas, and also in the same time we can save the biogas itself, it will be more effective, right? So the scale up, we can think about how to produce biogas by a simplest way, such as my presentation about the raw material pretreatment, but also in the same time we have to think about how we save the product of the biogas and then use it very carefully. We can save, we can use at the same time with a very effective way. Maybe we can build some building, or maybe some infrastructure that can produce, and then not in a far way, it is also can become a very useful energy and a very useful renewable energy. And I hope that it can be implemented in all Indonesian, especially for the region that have some issues with maybe electrical and etc.
Thank
I
you,
think
Pak
that's it.
Enrico. Because of limitation for the time, I hope that you success for the next research, and I hope you success for your maybe any useful funding concerning to the biogas research. We give
Thank you very
applause
much.
to Pak Bangun and also Pak Enrico. I'm sorry, I'm forget to give applause to Pak Bangun and Pak Enrico.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Mr. Mariano.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for
Yeah.
listening my presentation.
We go to the next presenter. I'm sorry, Mbak, monggo di call for the next presenter.
Yes, for the next presentation will be Nofliza Eka Patricia, will be presenting by video, Mr.
Oh yeah.
I will
Okay.
play the video.
Yeah.
Waste Management and Control Police in Bengkulu City 2021. Nofliza Eka Patricia MSI, Muhammadiyah University Bengkulu. Introduction. The large number of solid waste problems that occur in Indonesia make local government an extension of the central government based on the principle of decentralization, making local regulation on waste management that refer to solving the problem experienced. As a form of follow-up to Law Number 18 of 2008 regarding waste management, the regional government of Bengkulu City issue Regional Regulation Number 2 of 2011 concerning waste management in Bengkulu City. Waste management in Bengkulu City still leaves problems. Waste production continues to increase from year to year, while the increase in the ability to transport waste is still minimal and lags behind when compared to the growth in waste production. Method. This research was conducted in Bengkulu City. The focus of this study is the Waste Management and Control Police. The informant is this study where 15 people. The determination of the researchers' information used the purposive sampling method. Data analysis by combining, namely 1. Classifying the data both secondary and primary data. Number 2. Condensing the performance of data sorting, and analyzing data. Number 3. Research present data and confirm data and deepen data analysis. Number 4, the research draw conclusion by analyzing the data in accordance with the development of research discussion. Result and discussion. Result: after approximately 10 years of implementation of this policy, there is still garbage scattered either on the side of the road, sharing, gutters, or even in the median road. This shows that the policy has not been implemented properly, because the garbage is still scattered, because there are still people who are reluctant obey the rules that are carried out by not throwing garbage in the place provided. Community participation in waste management and control is the willingness of the community to assist the success of waste management in accordance with ability of everyone without scapegoating their own interests. Without community participation, a planned waste management program will be in vain. One of the community approaches to be able to assist government program and their success is to familiarize the community with behavior in accordance with the solid waste program, namely changing people's perception of waste management orderly, smoothly, and evenly, changing people's habit in managing waste unfavorable and local social, structural, and cultural factor. Discussion in terms of waste management and control. The Bengkulu City government is in accordance with regional regulation number 2 of 2011, namely that both the police implementers and the community work together to realize the objective of the waste management policy by understanding the context of the police and carrying out the content of the policy well, so that can have a positive impact on both the community and the implementing party, and the goals and result can go hand in hand. Give as regularly as possible and apply to the community to dispose of garbage in the place that has been provided, with the hope of making people aware of the importance of maintaining cleanliness and not littering. That is not a pledge. The year 2021 is clearly visible and firmly the Bengkulu City government in facing the waste problem. From several cases that were exposed to the public, both in the authority directly by the deputy mayor, by the Salebar district party, and the general public. There is great hope in the future that there will be a level of direct public concern from their environment. There will be benefit from all circumstances, namely that the community will be deterred and afraid of being caught if littering. And of course, it is hoped that the regional regulation number 2 of 2011 will continue. The two organizations Bengkulu City for the better. Conclusion: the Bengkulu City government already has implemented regional regulation number 2 of 2011 concerning waste management in Bengkulu City in accordance with the provision. waste management and control policies that have been established need to be emphasized in their implementation in the community because they are a shared responsibility. In the future, waste control efforts need to be inserted, familiarized, and obeyed in a conscious and full sense of responsibility. Efforts, sanitation, and penalties for illegal waste disposal according to existing regulation as the deterrent effect and law compliance for the wider community.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation with the video. We will running from the next presenter. Monggo, Mbak, untuk presenter berikutnya.
Yeah,
Next.
next will be Mr. Arif Rahman Halim presenting by video.
Okay, I think for the video, maybe we will continue for the later, ya Mbak ya. We continue for the presenter with the direct presenting.
Okay. Next will be Mr. Amar, Mr. Purwanto, Mr. Sunoko, Elanda Fikri, dan Mr. Ahmed.
Hey, Amar, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. How about you?
Where are
Yeah,
you?
very
Where
glad
are
to
you now?
see you.
Pak Amar,
Yeah,
where are you now?
I'm in Sudan actually.
Oh, in Sudan. Okay, how are you in Sudan?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, we are
Okay.
fine. And how about you?
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. I am
Yeah,
at home
miss
now.
you and miss you and your department.
Yeah, please come to Semarang,
Okay.
Mr. Amar.
After
Okay.
the situation will be fine, I will be there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, please go ahead for your presentation, Pak Amar.
Okay. So could you share the screen or share it by myself?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, could you hear me well?
Yeah, okay. I can show your.
First of all, I'd like to thank very much the Diponegoro University for hosting this auspicious conference, and also I'd like to extend my appreciation and respect for all the conference committee, scientific committee, and registration, administration, chairperson, host, moderator. Thank you for inviting us to be part of this conference. And actually, they are working very, very hard for so long time to implement this conference. And thank you for your effort, and we appreciate it. Actually, this topic is part of my dissertation when I did it in Indonesia. Actually, I would like to take a moment to recognize my supervisor, Professor Dr. Engineer Purwanto, and co-promoter Dr. Hina Rai Sonoko. Thank you for your, and also the examiner, and also Pak Mariono. I'm so glad to see you. Pak Mariono, he was my examiner, and thank you for your contributions at making sure we are where we are today. So the topic about the role of the processing material input in sugarcane manufacturing in wastewater case study in Sudan as a live factory. Next, please. So The input material are significant to produce sugar were classified into two categories: raw materials and chemical materials. Raw material include sugar cane stacks and chemical and water, and chemical materials or chemical components include calcium phosphate, and include sulfide also, and sodium. And sugar mill without good management could have negative externalities or consequences to the environment. Actually has consequences on the water and soil and human being as well, and the people who are living around the study area. Next, please. So based on the experiment and the standard, actually, as I mentioned, sugar production requires two kinds of material, and require like 1,500 until 200 liters of water, and generate 1,000 liters of wastewater. And actually, this is the standard. Experimented it in several studies on hello. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Amar.
Yeah, next please, next slide. Yeah, sugar production actually require two kinds of material: raw material and chemical material. And both of material, if it doesn't have perfect management, will have apprehensive and consequences on the environment. So the consequences represented in wastewater, and produce wastewater with and wastewater include chemical materials and solid waste as well. And if the wastewater doesn't have perfect management, will have impact on water quality and human health. Because in here we have the factory around the study area, Asalai factory, and the factory disposes the wastewater directly without the treatment on the river. So and a lot of people living around the study area. So the people use that water as the main source of the drinking water. So that way, the main topic of this is the main objective of the study. The study want to evaluate and assess the amount of the water quality that produced by the factory. Next slide. And the objective and methodology of the study, the purpose of this study is assessing the amount of the wastewater generation liter by second from the comparing with the value capacity of the keeping through analyzing the different type of the input material and chemical input. The methodology of the study engage and analyze of the amount of the annual input of the cane, water, and chemical constituent. The study use 1 ton of the cane input. There are 1,000 liters of the wastewater. Next slide, please. And the study area is geographically located. The study was conducted in Asalai factory, located in Asalai province, White Nile State, Sudan, 280 kilometers south of the Khartoum. Khartoum is capital city of Sudan, and 5 kilometers north of Rabak. So the factory located in Rabak state, between latitude 32 west until 30 east, and latitude 40 north and south. Next slide. So the data collection and acquisition include two types of the data: primary data and secondary data. Primary data were obtained by conducting the interview to recognize the percentage of the water input, satellite data, and physical inspection. And secondary data include using the study are input of the cane stacks and chemical substances, and standard of the amount of wastewater generation recommended by the former studies guideline. Next slide. So the analysis of the data, the study depends on the raw material inputs and chemical substances to assess the amount of the wastewater generation in the study area based on the applicable standard, which is 1 ton of the cane generate 1,000 liters of wastewater. This amount actually include water and chemical, as well as due to the percentage of the water is added to cane use, so that the concentration to be 100%. The study also use geographical information system to identify the circumferences of the wastewater ponds, because to keep the wastewater in 3 ponds, naming it A as A, pond A, pond B, pond C. Next slide. So the result evaluating the input, just focus on the last year, 2020. Actually, the cane input per ton annually is 455,764, and by comparing the daily input of the cane, 3,376. So, like, if I want to know like the input of the cane, so I have to divide it the annual by the crop days. Crop days is the daily of the factory working. So in 2020, the factory work 150 hours. So 455,000 divided 150. So the total is 3,367. Next. So assessing the water input. So the water input, we call it in sugar production like maceration or imbibition. So the amount of the water input is 27. That is constant percentage. So in 2020, the input of the water per liter per year actually is 1,230,056. So next slide. So considering the chemical substances, actually the factory use 4 types of the chemical: calcium, phosphate, and sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. So the total in 2020, the factory use 928 per ton. If I want to divide it, daily use 6.8, almost 7 ton daily. So actually this amount, if mix it with the processing material, which has, and the factory doesn't have the perfect system of the management of the solid wastewater, will have like apprehensive and externalities on the environment. I mean the water quality and human health here. Next slide. So actually the total generation of the wastewater in 2020 is 455,764, 180 liters per year. The total area of the 3 ponds A, B, C is 587,000 meter cubic, which equivalent 587,810,000 liters per year. For the system of the treatment based on the observation inspection, the wastewater collected in 3 ponds in terms to evaporating during the end of the year. However, the study revealed that the factory doesn't have that water treated by discharging or disposal the wastewater and mixing with fresh water using suction generation. So, like readily saying that the factory doesn't have a perfect system of doesn't have treatment unit, only just mixing fresh water and wastewater to disposal in White Nile River. So the way of the keeping, actually the pond accommodates the wastewater, but the way of the treatment actually is not optimal. Next. So conclusion, the annual disposal of the wastewater in 2020 was 455,764, 180 liters per year. Meanwhile, the total volume of the 3 ponds is 587,000 and 810,000 liters. Hence, the points are adequate or like accommodate and accommodate the whole wastewater generation, but the treatment design is not perfect. Next. So the study suggests that the factory should promoting the biological treatment in the 3 ponds exclusively, and the first pond must be treated perfectly, and later drain it to the second and 3 and 4 using aerobic engine to supply the oxygen and reduce the pollutants. It is crucial to support environment water policies and estimating final treatment around the rivers regulated by the government. Next slide. Hello, next, yeah. The factory must continue to follow the global transformation. Global transformation include eco-friendly and green economy production. Therefore, the factory must also be familiar with the sustainability concept, which required to be aligned with the social, economic, and biological sectors. And the study also recommended that the wastewater pond ought to be treated ideally and concerning from the starting from equalization, neutralization, sedimentation control, and aerobic treatment, lastly, aerobic treatment in order to achieve the sustainability and upgrading and the advancement in interest of the country. So country, human, and conserving the environment resources. So environment resources and other kind of biotic and abiotic component around the study area. Next. Thank you very much and welcome you and your distinguished question.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Amar. It is a nice presentation. I see that the presentation is about the sugar company and how they treat about wastewater and also solid waste. I think it is about your dissertation, I think, Pak Amar, yeah?
Yeah, yes, a part of my dissertation when I did it in Indonesia, and you were, I mean, like part of the examination committee, internal examiner.
Yeah, overall is the data and your data is very good, and I hope you success in the research related to the wastewater treatment plant in the Asalaya Sugar Factory.
Yes, now we are doing many projects associated with. Yeah, we are doing many projects right now associated with water treatment. This organized with the factory, many factory in Sudan. But our project is still working.
For you.
Maybe next conference we will be like a speaker.
Okay, good for Pak Amar and success for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pak Mariono. Thank you very much.
I hope you will be success in Sudan, Pak Amar, and apply your knowledge and your technology from Undip to the Sudan, Pak Amar, yeah.
Yeah, you too, you too. Thank you very much. We will do more cooperation together, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, okay, Pak Amar. We hope English our collaboration for future, Pak Amar, ya.
Yeah, it will be on future. After the situation will be fine. After mass corona, sudah hilang.
Baik, thank you, Pak Amar, and I hope that we keep in touch for collaboration, both for Sudan and also for School of Postgraduate, especially for School of Environmental Studies in School of Postgraduate Diponegoro University. And I hope you success for your research and also your project, Pak Amar. We will go to the next presenter. Monggo, Mbak, untuk dipanggil next presenter.
Yes, for the next presenter is Mr. John Bosco Niomokiza, Mr. Bernard Joseph Odeke, Mr. Paul Tibote, Mr. Moses Kiwanuka, and Mr. David Oworo.
Okay, Mr. John, please, time is yours. And
okay, let me share my screen.
Yeah, we
Allow
will
me
wait.
to share my screen.
Okay,
I
will-
think, excuse me, let me share my screen.
Yes, Mr.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Can you see my
we have it.
screen?
Yes, we've seen it.
Okay, the moderator, the participants, and the presenters. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. Or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Here in Uganda, it's 1 minute to 10 a.m. So I'm going to present our research concerning investigation on the potential use of waste paper to produce papercrete bricks. And the presenter is John Bosco Nyomukiza, together with other colleagues. I'm affiliated to Ndeja University, Kampala, Uganda. Yeah, okay, background. In Uganda, since 1969, there has been a big increase in the solid waste that are generated due to the rise in population. As you may know, as long as the population increases, there is also a likelihood of getting an increase in the solid waste that are generated. According to the report by Kampala City Council Authority, an estimate of 1,300 tons of waste are being generated every day, and about 50% of that 1,300 tons is collected and transported to the landfill. So by looking at the paper from National Environmental Management Authority, the solid waste that are generated comprises of around 73% of organic waste, then 5.3% of paper, 1.7% of sawdust, 1.6% of plastics, 3.1% of metals, 0.9% of grass, and 8% tree cuttings, then 5.5 street debris. So in this research, we're interested more in the waste paper. Yeah, we are trying to see how we can utilize this 5% of waste paper. So, because since you know that some percentages are taken to the landfill and others are simply disposed to the environment, so we are trying to see the way we can just utilize these percentages of waste paper, the ones that are dumped to the landfill or the ones that are disposed to the environment, and we try to see that we can recycle them. So because those ones which are taken to the landfill, there is also a very big challenge. Landfill and disposal sites are becoming overcrowded and expensive for waste disposal. If the production of waste cannot be prevented, then it is attractive to create an alternative use in another process instead of disposal. So you can understand that it's very hard to control the production of wastes. Waste will continue being produced. But now, as engineers, we try to look for a way of utilizing these wastes into something that is usable. Yes, please.
Excuse
Yes,
me, Pak
please.
John. Before you continue
Yes,
your
please.
presentation, I will give you some information that the waste is not production. On the term of waste, we use the generally as generation, waste generation, not waste production, yeah, Pak John, yeah.
Okay,
please
excuse
go.
me. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for that. It's a waste generation, yeah? Okay, now going to the problem statement. Now we have seen that the volume of solid waste that are generated countrywide are being disposed on landfills, which is one of the most challenging problems. And according to National Environmental Management Report, 5% of solid waste that are generated, which is called paper, with an average annual production of 800 tons. So civil engineers have been tasked to convert the industrial waste into useful resources and can be used for construction as construction materials. And one exclusive recycle opportunity is using waste paper as construction material, and reuse of resources is needed to achieve sustainability globally. Therefore, the potential function of waste paper for production papercrete bricks for construction not only delivers the potential use of paper recycling, but it will likewise bring down the demand pressure on global natural resources. So now let's try to see the objectives. The main objective of this study is to investigate the potential use of waste paper to produce papercrete bricks. And in order to achieve this main objective, a series of specific objectives exist. One, to characterize the constituent materials for papercrete bricks. Two, to determine the effect of curing on the properties of papercrete bricks. Three, to determine the optimum amount of paper in the production of bricks. Then methodology. Yeah, in order to conduct the study, the first thing was to prepare the samples. So this is how we prepare the samples. Some collection of the waste papers. Then we conducted some tests on materials. So we conducted particle size distribution on sand, then specific gravity, then some also tests on cement, initial setting time, final setting time, and consistency. Then also some tests on papercrete bricks, which includes compressive strength and water absorption. So these tests were done under a curing period of 7 days and 28 days.
Papercrete brick.
So this is sample mixing. Then this is how we cured our samples. These are the bricks that were made, and this is the process of curing them. Then here we are conducting the tests. Okay. So now I gave some specimen ID. One, when we see A, it means sand to cement, which is 50% sand and 50% cement. Then B, paper to sand to cement, 50% paper, 35% sand and 15% cement. Then C, specimen C is 60% paper, then 30 sand, 10 cement. Then specimen D, 70 paper, 25 sand, and 10 cement. Now let's try to look at our results. So from our results, because I prepared these slides considering time, which I'm going to spend while presenting, I just picked the major results from the study. On compressive strength, when we try to check, this is the control sample, which was having 50% cement and 50% sand. So it was found out that it's the one having the highest compressive strength, both at a period of 7 days curing and a period of 28 days curing. Then followed by the specimen that is having paper of 50%, 35%, and 15% sand. So we can try to see then these higher percentages of paper, the percentages are declining. So we can see that the compressive strength kept on increasing. If at all you see the curing period, this 28 days, here for the control sample, it was increasing. Even here, for 28 they look as if they are the same, but if at all you try to analyze the results, which are in tabular form, they are somehow larger than this one, which is cured for 7 days. Then depending on the percentages, the compressive strength also reduces with an increase of paper per quantity. As we can see here, the one which was having paper of 70% and 10% cement, you can see it's low. So that means we just considered this one which was giving the results which are high. Then on water absorption reduces with an increase in curing time. Water absorption increases with an increase in paper waste content. So we can see this percentage for cement, where cement was 50%, this is where cement is 50 and sand is 50, our control sample. The water absorption is very low. Then followed by the one that was having 50% paper, then 35% sand and 15% cement. So this is the water absorption. So from the conclusion, actually, we can just try to see, in case you increase the percentages of paper, the water absorption rate becomes high. So it's actually advisable to use smaller percentages of waste paper. Now, looking at the conclusion, the compressive strength dominantly decreased as the waste paper's large quantity was getting higher, and also increased as the age of curing increased. Hence, the longer the brick is cured, the higher the compressive strength attained. Then the second conclusion, the rate at which the papercrete bricks were absorbing water reduced as the age of curing increased for all the papercrete trial mixes, and also it increased as the amount of paper sludge in the mix increased. The trial mix of 50% of paper sludge gave the best results for water absorption, and therefore they're suitable for construction purposes. So the papercrete brick prepared from trial mix 50%, 35%, 15% gave the best results and is therefore recommended for non-load bearing walls, such as parapet walls and partition walls. So if at all we try to recall what we saw in the results, 50% of paper, 35% of sand, then 15% of cement. If we just try to see, leave alone the concrete, the control sample is the one where we obtained the maximum results for compressive strength and also low water absorption results. So it can be recommended for use, more especially for non-load bearing walls. Okay, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening to me. In case there is any question, please, it's welcome.
Thank you, Mr. John. A very
Yes.
nice presentation. You present about how try to understanding the behavior of the paper waste to develop
Produce
in
bricks.
the concrete and also for the construction material. Pak John, I have one question for you, Pak John.
Yes, sir.
Yes. How long you make some laboratory experiment for your research, Pak John?
Actually, we just made 2 times. Like we tested the bricks for 7 days, then we also tested for 28 days. After 28 days, those are some of the tests that were done on the samples, on the bricks that were manufactured.
Thank you, Pak John. For the next question, Pak John,
Okay.
I saw that the generation of waste related to the paper is very small.
Yes,
I think
please.
not more than 2%
Yes.
as your presentation. What do
No,
you think
it's
about this?
around 5.3%. It's
Yeah.
around 5%.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. What do you think about this, Pak John?
Yes.
Because mostly our waste is consists of organic waste such as rest of food and so on, but it is not so much higher about the paper. What do you think about this, Pak John?
Actually, you're right. The biggest percentage of wastes that are generated are organics, like food wastes. But when we were considering engineering properties, those food wastes cannot be of much because of the properties they possess, they cannot be used for civil engineering purposes. So that's why we considered that small percentage of waste paper, the 5.3. We can also try to utilize and mix it with other materials to form construction materials.
Yeah, regarding the previous presentation, they mostly the organic waste tried to treat by biogas or by biodigester or something. It is related to
Yes,
the
yes.
chemical reaction. How do you think for the possibility of the organic waste to be part of the construction material, Pak John?
I think that one also needs to be looked at in the future research. But for the current research, we are just more interested in the ones which we have seen that they have some desirable properties and can be used for the construction purposes.
Okay, Pak John, I am very interested with your research. My last question, what do you think
Yes,
about the drying process to control the water related to the organic waste composition, Pak John?
Okay, you're asking about organic waste, but basically this study is not about organic waste. We are trying to see these waste papers. I think it's not about organic waste.
No, no, no. My question is not relation with the construction waste, but this is part.
Okay, I understand.
Understand the behavior of the
Yes.
organic waste to be part of the material. What do you think about drying process, Pak John? Because the
I think for
did
the
you have any
drying
experiment
process,
or any experience, Pak John? How long we must make the organic waste to be dry?
based on the experience which I have on these other wastes, perhaps these organic wastes can take longer. The drying process can take much longer time. That's what I think. But that one needs to be looked at also.
Yeah, okay, Pak John. Thank you for your nice presentation and good luck and success for the future presentation. For the future research, Pak John. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Actually, I was also part of Ndeje University. I completed my master's from Diponegoro University last year.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Pak John. What is the
So nice to meet you again, sir.
John?
Pardon?
What is your master in the Diponegoro University?
Civil engineering, Pak.
Okay, oh, civil engineering. Yeah. Thank you, Pak John.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I hope
most welcome.
sometime
Nice to meet you,
can
Pak.
go again to Semarang, Pak John.
Yeah, I'm willing to come as long as the situation stabilizes.
Did you already finish for the master, Pak John?
Yeah, Pak, I completed. I'm already in Uganda.
Yeah. Okay. Success,
I
Pak John.
completed
for your
in
research,
2019.
and hopefully, we can meet in Semarang again, Pak John.
All right, Pa. Stay safe.
Okay, baik. Thank you for your nice presentation.
Okay.
We will go to the next.
You're most welcome, Pa.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now I can stop share my screen, eh?
Okay, Pak John.
Okay, Pa.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Pak John. We go to the next presenter. Monggo, Mbak.
Yes, next will be Mr. Arif Rahman Halim presenting by video.
Yeah, okay. We will look. It is also PhD student, I think.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? May you always be given health and continue to obey the health protocol to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. Thank you for the opportunity given by the moderator. Here, I will convey my presentation entitled Study of Area Change and Rehabilitation among Mangrove Ecosystem in Karimun Jawa. My name is M. Arif Rahman Halim. I'm from Doctoral Program of Environmental Science, Diponegoro University. Mangrove are coastal ecosystems that have many functions, one of which is an ecological function, including being able to withstand the rate of coastal erosion and spawning and nursery area for fish, and then absorbing CO2 gas and blocking wind and wave. The total area of extinct mangrove in Asia is 42%, Africa 20%, North America and Central America 15%, with the total area of mangrove worldwide of so many much. The mangrove area in Indonesia is 23% of the world's mangrove ecosystem. Mangrove in good condition have an area of so many much hectare, while those in so many much hectare. Central Java province has a mangrove ecosystem with an area so many much hectare, where an ecosystem so many much hectare in a endemic condition. In Karimun Jawa is a national park located in Central Java province and has a mangrove ecosystem covering an area of so many much hectare. Karimun Jawa National Park consists of small islands, so it has a high threat from the outset that can damage the integrity of the ecosystem in it. It is hoped that the existing mangrove ecosystem will continue to be sustainable, considering that the mangrove ecosystem in Karimun Jawa National Park is one of the largest mangrove ecosystems in Central Java. Mangrove ecosystems have very high economic and ecological value, but are also very vulnerable to land conversion if they are not busy in maintaining, protecting, and managing them. In general, the condition of mangrove ecosystem has heavy pressure due to prolonged economic and social pressure. There needs to be an action on or effort to prevent mangrove damage. Rehabilitation activities are carried out to restore the damaged mangrove ecosystem so that the mangrove ecosystem can function properly. Rehabilitation efforts are carried out based on the level damage to the mangrove ecosystem. Material and methods. The method used in this research is a case study with descriptive analysis. The data collective technique uses literature review from several relevant research sources whose research location in Karimun Jawa National Park. The collected data is then analyzed using the SWOT method to formulate the right strategy in overcoming the degradation of mangrove ecosystem in Karimun Jawa National Park. Result and discussion. Karimun Jawa is a national park located in Central Java and is a conservation area, so that the existence of the existing ecosystem is expected to be protected. The many area hectare mangrove ecosystem in Karimun Jawa is one of the largest mangrove forests in Central Java. Several studies on mangrove ecosystem and remote sensing that have been carried out do not analyze the cause of mangrove damage. And the first, Kemujan Island, based on research by Suryanti et al. in seen that Karimun Island experienced change in area. In 1901, the land area of Karimun Island was so many hectares, which gradually changed to so many hectares in 2001. Until in 2009, it became so much hectare. From 1901 to 2001, there was an increase with the rate of addition of an annual average of area 0.2 hectare per year. The largest use of forest on Karimun Island based on field observation and based on qualitative observation from interview comes from the conversion of forest function for agriculture and plantation. The use of land of Karimun Island for settlement tends to increase. Based on visual observation of research and field observation, the increase in residential area is dominated by the increase in tourist facility and infrastructure, eggplant, and residential area in the form of housing, and then office building, and then road widening, and so on. The increase in population in coastal area is suspected to be the cause of increased resource use around coastal area. Utilization made by human from coastal ecosystem include the use of mangrove wood for charcoal, tannins, and resin for drying and making leather, furniture, reed, fish trap, medicine, wood, and many other products. And then Kemujan and Karimun Island. Based on the result of research by Latifah, the classification of the area is divided into two classes, namely mangrove and non-mangrove. The spatial distribution shows that mangrove are distributed in river and area directly adjacent to the salty water between the island of Karimun Jawa and Kemujan. This result also indicated that there has been a process of regeneration and degradation of mangrove ecosystem. Mangrove are generally secreted in river and coastal land located on Karimun Jawa Island and Karimun Island. The main factor causing the decline in mangrove area include illegal logging, natural factor, change in land use to aquaculture and hotel. Most of the damage to mangrove ecosystem around the world is due to human activity. The function of mangrove forest is converted into a pond with individual or group ownership right. And then Barang Island, research by Hartoko et al., which used satellite imagery to determine change in the area of mangrove vegetation on Barang Island. As the result that the type of mangrove found at the observation station of Barang Island are Rhizophora cornata, Bruguera chimerisa, Bruguera cylindria, and Avicennia marina. The status of mangrove condition on Barang Island is based on the standard criteria for mangrove damage for the three categories with an average density of so many mass hectare and average cover the 37.5%, including the criteria of infrequently damaged. The diminishing mangrove area on Barang Island encouraged related parties to carry out rehabilitation of mangrove forests. And then SWOT analysis. The table 1, internal factor. Strength factor, number 1, the regulation on mangrove conservation. Number 2, the diversity of mangrove fish, crab, and bird has the potential to be used as livelihood and tourist area. And number 3, there are institutions that already have experience in collaboration with several parties. And then the weakness, number 1, the high conversion of mangrove ecosystem. Number 2, less involving in surrounding community. Number 3, low level of education and understanding of the community. The rating is the highest internal factor strength. The number 2, the diversity of mangrove fish, crab, and breed. The scoring 0.36. The total score internal factor is 2.6. And then external factor of opportunity. Number 1, there is government and private support. Number 2, the number of visitors who came to Karimun Jawa Island. Number 3, improve the economy of the community around the mangrove forest conservation area. And the external factor threats. Number 1 is aggression. Number 2 is the negative impact of tourism activity. And number 3, illegal logging of mangrove tree. The score is highest number 2 in opportunity external factor, and the total score is 2.38. And then a SWOT strategy formulation. And the strategy SO, strategy ST, strategy WO, strategy WT. Number 1, conservation development through preservation and enhancement of mangrove preservation by coordinating with community, institution, and government. Number 2, increasing stakeholder involvement in developing conservation by streaming the rehabilitation and enforcement of mangrove protection regulation. And then number 3, increasing community empowerment and optimizing mangrove conservation area facility. Number 4, increasing the role of the managing government to minimize aggression and optimize cleanliness management and add facility for mangrove conservation area. Conclusion. Number 1, the factor causing mangrove damage are human and nature. Human factor is the dominant factor in mangrove ecosystem damage in area of excess land use, and natural factor caused by aggression. The rehabilitation for mangrove in Karimun Jawa National Park, namely planting mangrove using a green belt pattern and building a breakwater as a breakwater so that mangrove seedling can grow and be safe. Thank you for the attention. I apologize because there was a research activity. I couldn't attend the ICENIS International Seminar directly. Thank you. Keep stay safe and healthy.
Okay, thank you very much on the committee for the ICENIS. I think all of presenter already present ya Mbak ya.
One more. There is Mr. Nirwan Niagara.
Oh,
Will be
Nirwan
presenting
Niagara.
by
Is
video.
there
too.
any Nirwan Niagara?
Mr. Nirwan presenting by video, sir.
Okay, I think because it is the same with the video, it is okay, and I will learn by myself for the video presentation. And thank you so much for you all of attendance, Pak Amar, Pak John, and everybody. Nice to meet you with a good session today, and hopefully you enjoy the ICENIS, and hopefully too we can meet each other face to face after the corona finish and also after we break out from the corona. Thank you so much for all participants again, and if there any some inconvenience during the presentation, I am sorry, and I hope be success for all our activity and also our research in the future, and also we success in all day-to-day job and also day-to-day tasks that facing us. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Good luck for your research and hopefully success and give big impact for you and also for your institution. Oke, gitu nih Mbak.
Thank you very much, Pak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mariano,
Ya,
for moderating
Stay
our
safe
session.
to everyone.
Pak
See
Pak
you.
John,
Terima
Pak
kasih.
Bangun, Pak Enrico, dan semuanya. Thank you
Foto
so much.
bersama, Pak. Foto,
Ya,
foto.
terima kasih,
Oke.
Pak.
Foto.
Mbak, silakan diambil screenshotnya, Mbak.
Okay, I will count it in 3. 1,
And share
Two.
it. Share it also.
3. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Ya, bye-bye all. Thank you, Pak
Bye-bye,
Bangun,
Pak.
Pak Enrico, Pak John, dan Pak Amar. Bye-bye.
Assalamualaikum. Ya.
Thank you, sir.
Sukses.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
John.